Welcome back, everyone, to Cheddar Innovates, brought to you by Curiosity Stream. I'm Nora Ali. The Indianapolis Prize is the world's leading award for animal conservation, and the winner takes home a $250,000 prize. A group of judges evaluates contestants based on measurable outcomes resulting from their work, the quality of science involved in their efforts, and much more. This year's winner is the first ever marine conservationist to take home the prize for her work with seahorses. Joining me now is Dr. Amanda Vincent, director and co-founder of Project Seahorse and Indianapolis Prize winner. Amanda, great to have you here with me today. Congrats on this award. What does winning this mean to you, and what will you be doing with the big prize?
Oh, look, it's fantastic. The Indianapolis Prize really is the top award in animal conservation. And so winning this, first of all, means I guess people think we're doing the right thing, finding good solutions, but also it gives us a platform to talk to lots of other people about ocean conservation and engage them, such as your viewers. So this is super. And the prize is, 250,000 US dollars, which is an extraordinary amount of money. And I'll be able to help some of the villages that were first involved in our conservation work with some technology they need for learning in their schools, and then also do some things for my team. Plus, I'm going to buy myself an e-bike and go swimming with seahorses as soon as we can do that sort of thing again.
Yes, an e-bike. That is environmentally friendly. I love that. So talk to us a little bit more about Project Seahorse. What's your mission there, and why did you launch it?
Well, I launched it because I fell in love with seahorses. In seahorses, only the male gets pregnant. The female transfers eggs into the male's brood pouch, and in that pouch they're fertilized, and he provides oxygen and nutrition. He goes into labor, so it's super riveting. And then while I was studying seahorses, I always had this save the world ardor. I discovered that there was possibly a massive trade in the animals. So traveled the world trying to figure that out. So Project Seahorse is a marine conservation alliance between the University of British Columbia in Canada, in Vancouver, Canada, and the Zoological Society of London in the UK. And our mission is to ensure we have healthy and well-managed coastal ecosystems using seahorses as flagship species. We're fond of saying that to save seahorses, you're going to have to save the seas, but by saving seahorses, you're also going to help save the seas.
Can you specify a little bit more the threats that seahorses face and how we can actually protect them?
Yeah, seahorses are threatened by the same pressures that affect many, many other marine species, and they respond to the same solutions. So that makes them what we call flagship species that can really gather the whole ocean community under them. And they're threatened by indiscriminate fishing, poor fishing practices, and by damage to their habitats, everything from coastal development to climate change. But the biggest single pressure by far is bottom trawling. So I want you to imagine that you've dropped a heavily weighted net, a really heavy net, huge net, on the bottom. You scrape and gouge the ocean floor as this net is towed behind a boat. It levels the habitats and it clears everything in their path while trapping everything in its path, from seahorses to sharks. And take that on land. Imagine on land that in some of the national parks you were talking about, you drop a heavy razor wire, you shear off all the forest, all the vegetation, you dig into the soil, and you extract every last insect, bird, and mammal. That's what we're doing with bottom trawling in the ocean. And then the indiscriminate mess of life that's gathered, the wonderful marine species that are caught in the net, is often sold for fish meal, for aquaculture feed, or to feed chickens or other animals for pennies a kilogram. And I should add that many of the crew on those boats are actually either indentured or enslaved labor in some parts of the world. So it's a devastating fishing practice, and it's the single biggest threat to seahorses, although there are many others. But the lovely point is if we stop bottom trawling, the ocean is resilient enough to begin to recover. So there is a way out of this, and it's to stop the bottom trawling.
Wow, so glad you were shining a light on this. That is truly devastating. And Amanda, you are the first scientist to study seahorses underwater. So where have you yourself traveled for your research, and what is it like to be around these seahorses?
Well, watching seahorses underwater is very zen. It's like a ballet. You just sort of sit back. They don't move quickly at all. So you have to be very patient and meditative. I've been able to study seahorses in many parts of the world. And recently, about 2 years ago, I guess, my two children and I set off and spent an entire year working on marine conservation projects around the world as my sabbatical. So we spent time in Chile and Argentina, in China, in India, South Africa, France, all sorts of parts of the world contributing to conservation projects. It's a great chance to travel the world, which of course I'm very, very glad we did 2 years ago and are not trying to do this year. And perhaps my favorite area, let's see, well, I've studied them for such a long time in the Philippines. I think that has to be where my spiritual home is, with seahorses underwater.
And you've, of course, shed a lot of light on the 44 known species of seahorses. I had no idea there were that many species. Amanda, what are some unique facts about these animals that might surprise us?
Well, Nora, first of all, they range in size from the baby fingernail to about your forearm. So they're really different in sizes. And the male gets pregnant. I mean, I mentioned that. That's quite extraordinary. Only the male gets pregnant. So the male goes through this full comprehensive pregnancy. And then also they change color to match their background. They can grow skin filaments to blend in better with their background. And they eat constantly. They're predators, so they kill lots of other little animals and have no stomach, but they eat all the time. So that means they poop a lot too. And they hold on with their tails. So they're really extraordinary animals in a great many ways. They form pair bonds. So the male and female come together and dance together every morning in this gorgeous ballet. And the moment he's given birth, she's there with more eggs, and they remate.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Amanda, lastly, what are some steps that individuals can take in their everyday lives to try to help conserve our oceans?
Yeah, I mean, the Indianapolis Prize really is good at allowing us to reach out and talk to people about these. Part of the mission of Indianapolis Zoo, I know as well. There are two waves of work that everybody can do. One is to choose our seafood really carefully. So ask the restaurant server or ask the supermarket salesperson where your seafood comes from. How is it caught? How is that fishery managed? And yeah, they'll often look at you a bit perplexed and confused, but if you ask often enough and then maybe extend the invitation to the chef or the manager to explain it, we're going to start getting answers. They're going to have to start following that trail backwards. And if the answer is that it's trawled or it might be trawled, then please say no. And then at the other end, since we're all at home, perhaps people can spend some time advocating that our economy be reopened as a green economy, or in our case, a blue economy. We really need to stop bottom trawling, and we need to make certain that all fisheries and wildlife trade are managed legally. Plus, of course, we need to advocate for protected areas in the ocean, areas where no fishing is allowed, so the ocean has some insurance against the massive amount of fishing that's going on in many areas of the world.
Amanda, some great action items there. Thank you again for schooling me on seahorses. That's Dr. Amanda Vincent, director and co-founder of Project Seahorse and Indianapolis Prize winner. Coming up, parents are in need of at-home teaching tools now more than ever before. Up next, we'll see the robot that's helping learn social skills from the comfort and safety of their home. That's next.
Movie fans,